Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage we're taking Purdey the 1996 XK8 convertible down into my local town to get myself a quote for a pair of rear tyres. The weasel just crossed the road, didn't hit him. So, quick catch up for those of you who don't know. I bought Purdey probably about a year ago. I mean, essentially traded in my car of nearly 12 years, PJ, another XK8, for this one which had been lightly restored and is lower mileage and even earlier. It's a very interesting car. And when I bought the car, the guys who I bought it from swapped the front tyres for some budget rubber, but the car has only done not even 1,000 miles since then because of COVID and all sorts of things. The rear tyres have not been changed, and they are 2013, so they're 7 or 8 years old, and they've got some cracks in the bases of the tread, and I don't like them. Also, they are budget tyres, so these kind of no-name bits of rubber do worry me somewhat on a car with this amount of torque. So my plan today is to go and get myself a quote for replacing the rears because they are cracked. The fronts are brand new and no name, and it feels a little wrong to get rid of things that are literally brand new, but I just want to get a sense of how much it's going to cost me. The reason for choosing now is I've been doing a little bit of research on the internet, and there is a sale on, it seems at the moment, of Pirelli P0s, and Pirelli P0 was the launch tyre for this car, and the P0 was developed with the car in mind, and the car was developed with the P0 in mind. And yeah, it's not the most modern or up-to-date tyre these days, but it is still right up there as one of the top-ranked performance tyres. I had P0s on the previous car, and when I swapped the old ones for the new ones, brand new P0s, I got an instantly better feeling car. So I think that fresh Pirelli rubber does actually give a slightly more compliant ride, and it certainly gives more traction than old tyres. That's not a revelation. There are other sort of recommended tyres for these cars. Lots of people will swear by Toyos, Hankooks, Dunlops. You can get an Avon that fits. I'm quite a fan of the Avon. Combination of it being British and being a performance tyre. It's more orientated to the grip. But we're going to investigate. When I swapped the tyres on my previous car for Pirelli P0s, I had to pay nearly £200 a corner. I'm hoping I get a quote of considerably less than that, just because everything's slowed down. Everybody's offering something a little cheaper at the moment. So we're going to see what the situation is. Okay, so as anticipated, the P0s were amongst the more expensive tyres I could buy, but I've gone for two. I've ordered those, and they'll take a couple of days to come in, but we are at £160 each. What was interesting is when the guys first looked her up and gave me a price, they said 108 which obviously I was well keen for. But being fair, I said, that doesn't sound very likely. And what we discovered is that those were for, yes, Pirelli P0 Rossos. And you'd think, well, if it says Pirelli P0, it's going to be the same. Not much was similar about it. The tread pattern was entirely different. Rolling resistance, economy, all the figures are different. So just be aware of that. They're obviously cashing in on the fact they got this Halo brand in P0, and they've come up with P0 Rosso. Sounds cool. It's not the same tyre. While I've been out today, I've noticed a little bit of a new, I don't want to call it a rattle, it's not a squeak, but a noise anyway coming from the dashboard. So we're heading into an area we've described in the previous secrets of the XK8 before, and that is the dashboard tightening bolts, which cure 99% of all squeaks. So if you've not seen this one before, just lift out your speaker covers, or in my case blanking covers, because I don't have speakers there, and behind there you'll find a Torx bolt. Now I don't have the right Torx bolt bit with me, so using a little bit of ingenuity, I just want to see if it is that. Not that. I'm going to use a straight blade bit, which is the right sort of length across the width of its blade to be used as an emergency Torx bit. I'm not going to put any real torque on it. Yep, that's come loose. Tight enough that you couldn't move it with your fingers, but not tight enough to actually stop the dashboard from twitching, which is what it does. It just basically moves around on its mountings, makes all sorts of knocking and chirping sounds, and because the car's been stood outside for a few weeks, I think it's been for a few heat cycles. We've gone from 30 odd degrees to 8 degrees a couple of times in the same day recently, and that's the sort of conditions that allow your plastics to ease, let's say, and in doing so they very often loosen off some of these fixing bolts. So that's not tight enough, but what it is tight enough for me to be able to hear the difference or not. I'm convinced, having done this several times on other cars, that is more than enough to make the noise. So there's one there, obviously one on the other side under the speaker, and one under the little cover in the middle. Middle one appears to be tight.